So it appears that management felt that I insulted your intelligence. Let's just cut the crap right here. Last month at the start of this program, I talked about love, and not knowing what love actually was. And I illustrated my point by mentioning specific instances over the course of my life that have left me both disillusioned and deprived of figuring out what the definition of love truly is. And to my incredible astonishment, but total lack of surprise, my comments were met with almost complete ignorance by some on the Revolution roster. By ignorance, I mean getting put in a headlock, kicked in the crack, licked in the neck, poked in the love handles. To you, it sounds like kinky, filthy fun. You try having my horrendous cardio while sitting in an after-party environment with Zack Ryan and the Daniels clan in the same room, and you tell me how you survive! And no, Boba was not there, or I would have been the Michael Cole to his Heidenreich right about now, and it wouldn't have been poetic! First time I have openly addressed my infliction with hyperlexia as a young child. And Revolution management insisted that I apologize for trying to not feel like a whipping post, while ultimately continuing to endure the physical, verbal, and mental beatdowns of a whipping post. There are a few things I think I should clear up before I get to what my superiors want. 1. I talked about certain people in my social circle referring to women as dead fish. I am of the opinion that not all women are dead fish. I agree that there are some women who may fit that description, but of the women I've been interested in, or have been interested in me, while some of them ended up being toxic, I could at least see their necks and shoulders. Number 2. I don't hate every single member of my family. But I'll go on record and say that I have seldom to rarely ever said I love you to some of them. Does it make me a bad person? No. Does it make me heartless and thoughtless? No. You have to remember that even the most minor autistic afflictions, such as hyperlexia, skews the left brain and the right brain. It's a damn shame that my grandparents weren't alive long enough to bash both of mine into shape. Because after they died, I really could have been a great moral compass to some of my relatives, who seemed to come off at me as stubborn, unrelenting asses. Speaking of stubborn, unrelenting asses, as I am of the belief that all women are quote-unquote dead fish, not all women, excuse my French, I also don't feel that all women are bitches. When I was talking about specific incidents, when I questioned my own judgment and mindset about relationships that ended horribly, I was not pointing blame at any of those women involved in certain situations. Remember, I made the preface that the retardation in my own brain manages to screw up or ignore those who could be the one for me. My brain, not theirs. They are not bitches for my heartbreaks. I have a separate long list, though, of incidents where I have been cheated on and mentally played, and those women are the real bitches. Getting put in a headlock, kicked in the ass, licked in the neck, at an after party. I think that, in and of itself, explains why I prefer a certain level of isolation from the locker room full of macho. It's better than screaming rape or fire. 5. I never brought this up in my last rant, but I think it deserves some airtime. Here. Could some of you just please make your minds up and shut the fuck up? I'm somehow okay with being stuck in the singles lounge, despite all the physical evidence rearing its ugly head against me. I'm fine sharing my independence strictly with myself, and only with myself. If you find it necessary to post a fucking meme, you are risking your own best judgment. If you want to date a hot teacher, go outside and find a hot teacher. If you want your baby's mama to be the love of your life, go outside and punch the shit out of the chubby cheek douchebag who she ended up leaving you for. And then punch her teeth out too! And cream her Polar Pop, because she is such a superficial slut herself, just like you, for posting these stupid, poetic pictures that toy with your own emotions and other people's lives. If you're independent and you're happy, say it. Prove it. And don't turn hot for teacher. If you're not happy, physically do something about it. And stop flooding my Facebook wall, you lazy fat fucks. I think I've run out of time to issue my apology. Not that I need to make one up anyways. Now I'm going to go home and have sex with my wife. My wife! Just kidding, roll the fucking intro. Hello Revolution fans watching on YouTube and Facebook. Skeeter with you, welcoming you again to the Revolution Report, your once a month stop for everything you need to know about Revolution Wrestling. 3 weeks ago, our inaugural season of the Revolution era concluded in style with the event we reserved the right to call the biggest show of the year. It was before we seemed to coin every show this season with the phrase, the biggest show of the year. But Uprising was where the rivalries and the revolting that surrounded Revolution for much of this past season came to a head. There were many moments that were unforeseen, such as the surprise, quote-unquote, resignation of Prodigy Snake, not to mention all 5 championships changing hands. It's the first time in Revolution, and maybe the first time in the collective history of RevDub and FYW, where every title saw a new title holder in a single show. Kia became Unbreakable Champion, Adam Orton Smasher won the tag team titles, Jimmy Jack Daniels the new Hardcore Champion, Ian Lockhart capturing the American title, and Brian Phoenix finally winning the big one, the Revolution Championship. And let's also not forget, Lex Rocker walks into that season with the title in the bank briefcase, which puts the target instantly on Brian Phoenix's back. 5 of those 7 men stand one more championship victory away from being declared the first ever Revolution Triple Crown winner. That classification goes to the individual that wins any 3 of Revolution's title belts, and it should be interesting to see who will be the first to touch that pedestal. Another man gunning for the Triple Crown is former Revolution champion Prodigy Snake. But if we are to take Kyle Cash's word for sermon that Snake resigned the week prior to Uprising, then this is without question the most puzzling departure in the history of Revolution Wrestling. Cash said Snake had to do a little soul searching. We know Prodigy Snake in Revolution to be one of the most emotional competitors and stand-up leaders in the locker room. Adversity has been his trademark from the very first moment he stepped into this company. His match with Kyle Cash was destined to be a gem. With Cash's exclamation, fans and yours truly were all thrown for a loop. But summarily, the door was left open for opportunity, and in Snake's place was a man who we only saw a handful of times in 2014, and that was Genocide. Fresh off his elimination from Title in the Bank, he worked double duty. And much to the chagrin of the superstar, Genocide was able to hang and take the W. And Kyle Cash concluded the 2014 season with only 2 W's to his record. And wherever Snake may be, if he was watching, I'm sure he may have granted himself a moral victory for that statistic. With titles changing hands and moments becoming indelibly etched in the annals, there was so much to cover from Uprising that would be too much for one person to truly verbalize. So we've decided to give Uprising the proper melodic treatment. Here now, a special music montage of all the action and highlights of our season finale for 2014.
Resigned from Revolution Wrestling. Mike did kind of put me through the ringer earlier. I don't think I've had enough though. I wish I could go back to yesterday. I wish I could go back to yesterday. I wish I could go back to yesterday.
Build up over death match on. Brian Phoenix is Revolution Champion! He freaking deserves it! One of our own is in a new major motion picture. That's right. You know him as the One-Armed Bandit, OAB. In Revolution Wrestling, he has possessed the heart and the passion for this sport. But in his free time, he has another passion: the thrill of the bike. He is one of the many subjects in a new documentary about motorcycles and the motorcycle culture across the United States. The film is called On Any Sunday, the next chapter. Most racing enthusiasts will remember the original On Any Sunday, which debuted in theaters in 1971. and has been credited to being the most important motorcycle documentary ever made. This version is a modern take on the classic, which helped popularize the machine and the races. On any Sunday, the next chapter is in theaters right now. For more information on where to see this feature in your area, log on to onanysundayfilm.com. Today, Revolution Wrestling has over 860 likes on Facebook and over 2,100 subscribers on YouTube. Over the course of 5.5 years since the start of the FY Wrestling YouTube page, views of matches, segments, MVs, and likewise have totaled over 1.78 million. We've had 88,000 plus views from 167 countries since the start date of this past season, the Animal Tribute Show, March 29th. We eclipsed 800 Facebook likes 3 days before Pledge of Allegiance, and passed 850 likes 5 days before Uprising. The commercial for our Cruise Night show, just our commercial, is approaching 900 views, and much of that should be attributed to the star power that helped make that show a success. The phrase strength in numbers has never been any truer than it was this year, the first year of Revolution Wrestling. Here's another number for you. 101. That number represents the number of matches presented to you, our YouTube and Facebook audience, over the course of 13 shows this past season. In the next couple of months, those 101 matches will be narrowed down to only one, as it pertains to what we've reported on recently. In the past 2 years, our fans on Facebook have been able to participate in deciding year-end awards, namely matches and wrestlers of the year. This year will be very, very different, as not only will our audience be able to decide the best of the best in Revolution Wrestling, but there will be an actual show on top of it. Yay, entertainment, yay! Management is calling it the Revolution Awards, and have given us surety that there will be more than just choosing your favorite wrestler and match of the year. There will be a huge assortment of categories also on the ballot. Categories such as Tag Team of the Year, Show of the Year, Revolution's New Sensation, everything, even Prick of the Year and Shocker of the Year. Some should suspect that this is a very complicated process to dive deep into the vault and come up with 5 or 6 contenders for each individual category. Those same people probably live with a stick up their asses if they think or want to believe that anything is complicated in the world of Revolution. We don't have to go and make things so Avril Lavigne, especially after she forever corrupted Hello Kitty, but I digress. 101 matches in 2014. How does one go about narrowing the field down to the elite before making that final decision on what is the match of the year? Well, allow me to indulge in this experiment, seeing as I have a certain volume of opinion on this topic. I've called about 80 of these 101 matches up close, so I have that jeweler's eye to judge and see what deserves to go in the conversation. You fans will get to decide later on what will be the one that you will most remember about 2014. But I'm going to make a short list right now. 20 matches. And I'm also going to scope the entire season. I've seen comments from fans who have already almost decided what their match of the year is based on the reception of Uprising. But keep an open mind as I go into listing some of my favorite matches from this season. And we'll start off chronologically at the Animal Tribute Show. I think it's agreeable that Universal Acclaim should go to Prodigy Snake's victory over Mike Houston. Snake himself has called this his favorite match of his career, and it capped the story of last off-season with Snake escaping Mike Houston's bounty. This was Prodigy's endgame, and it paid off in a big way. And in reality, it only escalated the fire between himself and Houston, and launched the feud between the Rebellion and administration. I also have to give big props to Madman WK and Genocide. They're good friends, close friends even. They have made for better enemies over their respective careers, and their last man standing match also proved that to be true. The irony of this scenario was that on a day where we were paying tribute to the life of the animal, we were also paying tribute to the career of whoever lost this match, and both Madman and Genocide displayed their own animalistic tendencies inside the ring. Madman a lot more than Genocide. However, it was Genocide that sent the King Midas packing. There's going to be a lot of Prodigy Steak on my personal list, and it's not kissing up under any circumstance, because he can and has delivered in big match situations. He was in the main event of 9 shows in 2014, all of them with Revolution Championship ties. My personal favorite of all those main events was Day of Champions, and the 4-way with his fellow members of the Rebellion. Houston tried stacking the deck on Snake, and found what he felt to be the perfect scenario to not just win the mind games against Snake, but start to win the mind war against Rocker and Cash and Phoenix. And Founder even managed to stir the pot in his own fashion during the 4-way, which set off the drama and the tensions further. You can't talk about Prodigy Steak and the Revolution title without also mentioning Crypt's name. Those two had 7 matches against each other, one-on-one. It's really hard to put one match over the other, because the saying, if you've seen one, you've seen them all, comes quickly to mind. But both these men did not fail to deliver, and they left near immortal images in each battle. The Bloodbath of Apocalypse, the Texas Bull Rope match at FanFest, the Suicide Dive from 15 feet up at Pledge of Allegiance. I would also include the Snake Houston rematch from the premiere of Adrenaline in that conversation, simply because of Crypt's cash-in to win the Revolution title and the shock value that the moment carried. No doubt my favorite Crypt match this year was that last man standing war with Houston on Adrenaline. Even though the Founder was not as frequent an in-ring competitor than he had been in years previously, he still managed to get under the skin of a lot of people, and so he managed to keep his name up in lights. He is the founder and the owner, after all. Although the bulbs of those lights would be broken from left to right, especially with Crypt. I had never seen a trash can get flatlined in the way that Crypt made it pancake with tales from the Crypt. Business-wise, Revolution Wrestling Invades Streeter was Houston's finest accomplishment. I don't think even he could have projected that his baby would take center stage at an event the scope of Cruise Night. But there was so much joy in seeing his match with Let's Rocker, before, during, and after the bells rang. The fans were ecstatic, explosive in some cases, and most of them were seeing their very first Revolution show. I also believe this was a huge day for Let's Rocker. When he walked through the curtain, the fans really were enamored by his charisma, his charm, and the intrigue he brought. And of course, he brought along a very beautiful female on the side. August 30th ultimately stamped his superstardom in Revda. It was a proud moment for everyone involved. And yes, a proud moment for even Houston. I see it as a privilege to get slapped in the face by a redhead. Before capturing title in the bank at Uprising, Rocker's biggest achievement was tearing down Jimmy Jack Daniels, and almost tearing apart the ring. Jimmy Jack had previously never been defeated one-on-one by pinfall or submission. But Rocker was in very rare form that day, taking brutality himself along the way, but ultimately striving and surviving. With the new ring, we took good advantage of learning the ropes by utilizing the Battle Royal 4 times. I was entertained by all of them, but 3 stand out. At Pledge of Allegiance, we honored Gary Austin's retirement with the Battle Royal that Twisted Wicked J won to earn an American title match. And the knockdown match was also spectacular. On Cruise Night, we took the Battle Royal to the extreme. And if you heard the crowd that day, you would have thought Wolf Assassin was more than just a rookie. Wolf was put in the hardcore environment for 3 straight pay-per-views to end the season, and he felt more at home during Cruise Night than in his other 2 efforts. But no other newcomer wanted to make a bigger statement that day than Zack Ryan. He walked into Rev-Dub as a street fighter, and so it was only fitting he walked into Safe Haven from the streets and brought the ferocity of LaSalle to Streeter. When you see Zack Ryan in the ring, he's not one to show off his pride amidst the vicious streak. But if you're looking for straight-up, flashless punishment, not to mention a true star-making moment, you saw it against Raikazi. While Adam Ward has competed for our audience for a much longer period of time than Wolf Assassin and Zack Ryan combined, the existence of his former identity, Johnny Lyle, has undercut a serious attempt for fans to respect and appreciate his efforts. 2014 was a showcase for Ward to change both identity and perception, even though he's administration. And to his credit, he has grown at a remarkable pace, capturing the American Championship in July, and now co-holding the tag straps. If you're looking for where the tides really began to kickstart, I'd look no further than Apocalypse against Kyle Cash. A winning effort, nonetheless. While splitting up from the Rebellion may have boosted Cash's confidence, and he did start the Revolution era with the Surprise Revolution Championship victory, the front yard veteran has only been seeing stars, quite figuratively. He only won 2 times all year, both times against the current tag team champions. But those wins came very few and far between on the schedule. He lost to the likes of Crypt, Dante, and Let's Rocker. Once again fell short in his 5th knockdown match appearance. He thought Uprising was going to be a change in fortune. As fortune would have it, there was a change in opponents, and the losing string continued to grow. But as has been consistent in all of Cash's matches with drive and the showmanship that separates him from the rest of the pack. The result may have been disappointing, but the effort was far from. And then we get to the down and dirty. The matches that make you chant, holy shit, or that looked painful, or owie, or get that man some fireball! There's been a lot of holy bleep in the matches I've mentioned, but nothing to the volume that can be spoken in hardcore matches. I have 4 selections marinated in hardcore flavor. At Pledge of Allegiance, Pennywise and Smasher took part in what I thought was a very unorthodox hardcore title match, but one that saw neither man pull any punches back. They went all around ringside, behind the garage, against the house, even putting the stowaway dog leash to use. While Smasher has won 2 titles this year, Pennywise has emerged as a lot more underrated of a performer. He's raised hell and has been sent back, and in the process, showing his worth against the host of Revolution's finest. And he held his own under mainly hardcore conditions, possessing the Hardcore Championship for 91 days. On Cruise Night, there was the Hardcore Battle Royal. But at Road to Uprising, we knew that no ring was going to confine the likes of Minion, Zack Ryan, Wolf Assassin, The Freak, and Jimmy Jack Daniels. Over 1,000 pounds of humanity in what I have immortalized as the Colorado Country Club Cavalcade of Carnage. I mean, come on. Snowboards and a whole lot of old-school sporting equipment you would only see a bunch of snobby, filthy preps touch in their spare time. But this very much served as prelude and ultimately paled in comparison to 15 minutes of pain. Only the second time in Illinois wrestling lore did this match concept take place. I've called both installments, and in the movies it's very rare that a sequel ever truly one-ups the original. But in terms of blood loss and illegal designs and scars and destruction and surprises, I would rate number 2 over number 1. And as in the first 15 minutes of pain, the second saw Jimmy Jack Daniels stand tall and stand alone. And then there is the death match. The long 4-year wait to see that one epic encounter between Brian Phoenix and Mike Houston was finally realized. There was already enough debris for 15 minutes of pain, but death was not going to take a holiday for the rivalry that transcended administration versus rebellion. Both men have ran the gamut of wars, but nothing with the absolution of a death match. where one man would not and could not answer to the calls of a referee. Regardless of how much is left in either man's career tanks, I'm not sure if there has been another match in their respective wrestling lores that can be mentioned in the same light as this one. Nor do I believe there could be another match in either man's career that will live up to such incredible expectations. And that, my friends, is 20. 20 matches from 2014 that I've seen fit to include in the conversation for Match of the Year. Now, some of these matches may have bigger and better cases than others, but hopefully I've given a little bit of legitimacy to each of my selections. Now it's management's turn to put together their collective opinions and create a ballot that will certainly leave a lot of room for discussion and dissension. And it'll also be up to you to vote and hopefully give some of these contests a second or third viewing before you give out your final vote. In a matter of weeks, we will be receiving the official verdicts from management on the list of categories and nominees for the first of what we hope will be an annual gathering to celebrate the year that was in Revolution Wrestling. Once that breaking news comes in, Revolution Report will present the Revolution Awards Selection Show on YouTube and Facebook, where we'll announce the details for the Revolution Awards, as well as information on how you can vote. In the meantime, from Marilla Park in Streeter, Skeeter Moxley for your Revolution Report. Make sure to like us on Facebook for everything you need to know about the Revolution Awards. We will talk to you on the Selection Show.